Hi there, good morning. I only have time to make a super quick video update on my conversation that I was told you I was going to have with my husband last night. I did have that conversation with him. And if I look like, well, first off, it's summertime and I've sort of sworn off makeup for the summer because unless I'm going somewhere, I really don't care. So, but if I look exhausted, it's because I am. That conversation did not go as well as I was hoping that it would. Um, I really, I'm not sure exactly like what went wrong. It's not that anything specifically went wrong. It's just I think my husband was kind of he was getting what I wanted to do. I mean, or what I want to do. I think he's starting to get an understanding of where I'm trying to go. I just think he was not really prepared to be included in the dirty details of my plan, if that makes sense. Like, it's easy to sit outside of a situation and listen to someone talk about it. If you're not involved in it, it doesn't really, the yucky parts don't hurt, and the problems aren't really your problems. So the way I kind of see it is like if someone who were a friend or a relative of mine were giving me their money woes or saying, this is what we're going to be trying to do with our money, and I'm sitting there going, oh, well, I hope that works out. Good luck. That's kind of like what I feel like my husband, that's sort of what his standpoint has been. Like, he's removed himself from it. And so he's able to listen to me talk about, this is what I want to do, and be like, oh, good idea. But doesn't really own it like this, like it's our situation. It's almost like he treats it as though it's someone else. Um, so last night I sat down with him. Actually, I had to bombard him because he was in our only air conditioned room in our bedroom watching baseball. And I had to go trotting in there with my big awesome green bill binder and my laptop, and had to show him what was going on. And I just can't even explain how, like, I feel like my spirit is broken. Does that even make sense? And I know that one conversation with my husband is not going to break. I'm still doing what I'm trying to do. I just really was hoping that maybe he was either more on board or more willing to. I mean, because our finances are a mess. I mean, even though I've got everything budgeted and I mean, I'm doing the work that I can do, it doesn't take away from the fact that we still spend too much money every month. Oh, excuse me, sneezing. Excuse me. Sorry. Um, we're spending too much money. So I laid it out for him. And before we sat down and before all this, he had to run somewhere. He had to go help a friend move a baby grand piano, which anyhow, he's like, I need to get some gas. Can I get some gas when he left? And I'm like, I said, well, yes. I said some, but that we need to talk about that when you get home. We need to talk about it. And he was like, ugh. So he went and filled up his tank. And I wasn't specific on how much he could get, I guess. I just assumed that he would understand that when I said some and we need to talk about this, meaning finances or like how much money, that he would maybe be a little conservative with the amount of gas he put in. Well, no. He filled her up, and gas prices are horrendous even though they've gone down a little bit. So that was like $80. And so that just like, when you really, I don't know if some people, I assume we're not the only people that are in this boat who live so far beyond your means that it's like you literally, like $100 is either going to make you or break you. And that's kind of where we're at. And another problem is our daughter's birthday is like in 4 days. So I really wasn't planning on him spending a full $80 in gas. But he's got to put it in his tank I mean, he's got to have gas. So it's like, so I sat down with him and gave him all of this information. You know, we're basically broke. There's a few bills that haven't been paid yet that need to be paid that we don't have the money for. Now, $80 of the money I was planning on is in your gas tank, which wasn't, he didn't mean to like screw us over, but, and he really gets very unhappy is a good word. He gets almost angry. He doesn't like go because he's a very quiet person. He doesn't, any emotion he has does not come out of him. He can be raging mad, and that's the scariest thing. You would not ever know it. But I can see when he's getting agitated or not, you know, his jaw gets tight and he has this look about him. And so that's why I've always been very reluctant to want to share our finances with him, because he doesn't respond well. You know, there's not like a critical thinking mode with him. Like with me, if you present me with a problem, I might sit for 6 hours, but I'm going to sit there and rack my brain and try to figure out how to fix it. I am a fixer by nature, and he's not. He's an avoider. So when things get tough, he gets the hell out, basically. He doesn't want to deal with it. And so that leaves me having to deal with like all of it, and then I get resentful and frustrated. So I asked him, you know, what do you think we should do about our current problem, which is our immediate problem that we're broke, there's bills to pay, there's groceries to buy, and our kids' birthday's in 4 days. He had nothing. And I said, okay, then what would be your suggestions to do about the ongoing problem that we have, that is every month this happens? I mean, we get this close to being like, you know, overdrawn in our checking, bills not getting paid. We're not overdrawn right now, but it does happen occasionally because something, you know, somebody swipes a card. And that's the other thing. Yesterday was a payday. So he went ahead and swiped his card for lunch and swiped his card for something else. And I'm like, look, that's how we used to do things. That is how we both used to do things. We're not doing that anymore. And you don't understand that every time you swipe your card, I have to figure out where to take that money from. It's already all planned. It's already all got a home. And every time you just swipe the card, if that money hasn't been set aside for whatever you're swiping the card for, I have to steal it from somewhere else. And so I was trying, and I've had this conversation with him, but I think he just tunes me out. I seriously do. I made up this really awesome, I think it's really awesome. Guess that's a matter of opinion. Apparently my husband didn't think it was very awesome until last night when he actually apparently looked at it for the first time. I have a debt sheet, a debt log, and I'm going to do a new one every month. But I list all of our debts, and it's backwards. That's what I do. I'm backwards. I list them in order from greatest to, and I maybe have shown this to you, from least to greatest, with the interest rate, the current payoff amount, what we pay monthly. All of that's right here, and I've shown it to him, and I'm like, look, you can see exactly what we've got going on. And he's like, oh, great. Well, it wasn't until last night he's like, are we even close to paying any of this stuff off? And I'm like, I've shown him this sheet like 4 times, and I'm like, again, let me show you the sheet that I printed off so that you would know. So I was getting frustrated. I kind of got on him about some of the money he spends. Yeah, I got on him a little bit, and because I've been frustrated about some things, and so then he gets defensive or he completely shuts down, and then I'm mad. And I said, you know, if I were to hand you the bills today and said, okay, you handle it, what would be the first thing you would do to try to solve this problem? You know, because in my mind, we're spending like $80, almost $90 a month on Dish Network, and we can't pay our freaking bills. And so I said to him, I think it's God darn asinine to sit here and pay for TV when we can't pay our other bills. And he's like, well, then reduce it. So that whole thing just did not go how I planned. But I'm still going to stick with my plan, and I'm still hopeful, but it's times like this that make you just, I'm exhausted. I'm emotionally exhausted. So I'll make another video later. I have to take the kids to swimming class right now. So goodbye.